Hey guys, welcome back to another New World video. Today I'll be showing you guys the best way to get to 200 furnishing in New World. Before we begin, I have some important things to tell you before you start leveling your furnishing. The best way to level your furnishing usually depends on the prices of materials on a trading post. What I mean by this is that the cheapest ways to get from each milestone to the next can constantly change and vary across servers. So while one method might be the cheapest today, it may not be the cheapest tomorrow. I try and take this into account for this guide, and you also have to bear in mind that furnishing is quite expensive to level regardless of which method you choose. Firstly, my opinion is that the best way throughout is to craft drums, and you need snail slime, which is a rare ingredient in order to craft them. But other instruments may be an alternative for you, which requires catfish whiskers. The instruments all have the same other ingredients. The difference is that some of them, like the cello, require 2 catfish whiskers, whereas instruments like the drums require 1 snail slime. Whichever instrument you craft is entirely up to you, just make sure you are careful when crafting guitars, because the pearl gems are expensive on every server. But for the purpose of this guide, I'll only be talking about drums. Also, if you guys are like me and prefer to make your own trophies, then you should craft them as you go along, because the one-time bonus XP will be a great help. For me personally, I own all the trophies so I can just swap between them in my house whenever I need to. For example, I'll put up some gathering trophies when I feel like farming, or damage trophies if I feel like doing some PvE content. You might also find it profitable to sell the trophies you craft, so it could be an option for you as well. Another thing I should mention is that there are a few methods which are outdated now. Methods using beeswax used to be the best way to level up furnishing, but the cost of it now, how much you need of it, and how difficult it is to farm makes it impractical. And the days which you could make stains to level up your furnishing are now long gone. Also, the Mother's Love statue and powder horns aren't efficient anymore. You can still use these methods, but the prices of the materials is way too much for so little XP, so I just wanted to mention these in case any of you guys think I've missed them out. So in this guide I'll be giving you at least 2 options throughout. One will rely on these rare materials like catfish whiskers or snail slime, but if it gets to a point where these are too expensive for you and too difficult to get, then at least you'll have a second option. I'll make it so that this second option relies on you having the more traditional materials, which are usually more stable in price, but I only recommend these if the prices of cat whiskers and snail slime get too high on your server. This goes without saying, but you should always choose the cheapest option for you, so you'll need to check the prices first. Lastly guys, just a few quick pointers to save you some gold before you start leveling. I just want to remind you to do your crafting in the settlement which has the lowest crafting tax in. You can lower crafting tax costs when you level up your territory standing. Another tip is that Amazon have introduced a first craft bonus XP system in the game, which means the first time you craft a new item, you get double the XP for it. So when you unlock new items, I'd recommend crafting them one time to get the free double XP. I can't comment on whether you should do this for all furniture because there's so many different things you can craft, so you have to decide for yourselves which ones are worth getting a double XP for. Lastly, a common misconception is that you need to respec to 100 focus. This isn't the case because this only gives an extra 10% repair parts, not an extra 10% of your materials back, so you don't need 100 focus. Without further ado, let's get started. From 1 to 50 I've listed 3 options, the first being that you can craft 101 apprentice drums and 91 warm iron sconces. For this option you'll need to craft both of these together, and the warm iron sconces are the cheapest because timber is usually always cheaper than iron ingots, and the reason we're crafting the drums is that we're starting to think ahead here and getting the drums crafted and ready for the next step. So I recommend this option if you can get snail slime for cheap, because you'll need these for the next sections. It's up to you whether you want to craft the drums. You can simply just buy the drums on the trading post and salvage them, or buy the trinkets on the trading post. It may or may not be cheaper, so it's up to you. If you don't want to craft the drums, you can just go ahead and craft 112 of these warm iron sconces instead, and this will also get you to level 50. I've also provided another option to craft round sunny rugs because on my fresh start server, fibers are super cheap, but this isn't the case on my original server. I've listed the materials you need for all of these options on screen, and any of these options will get you to 50 furnishing. Now you're level 50, if you've crafted the drums and can obtain this much snail slime, you'll want to craft 100 musicians drums. But I've listed a few alternative options again, so you can either continue crafting round sunny rugs to get to 100, in which case you'll need to craft 759 of them, or you can craft 104 target dummies, but the prices of dummy frames may increase after this video, so you can always fall back to the round sunny rugs. It's always a risk of me telling you guys that one option is the best when it requires rare ingredients like dummy frames, because the prices will skyrocket and then it will no longer be the best method. But at least you guys have the option here. Once you get to level 100, you can get to 150 by crafting the next tier of drums, in which case you'll need to craft 66 composer's drums, and this alone gets you straight from 100 to 150. It's here where I strongly recommend crafting the drums because you'll need the trinkets in order to craft the virtuoso drums at 150, and crafting those is definitely the best way to get to 200. But if a snail slime and the catfish whiskers are unaffordable, I've listed another option, which is to craft 86 oak wine casks. Again, the drums would be my preferred option here, but you may find the casks cheaper. Also, if you can, craft one of each of the composer's instruments here, as this will help you out for the next section. Then once you've gotten to 150, if you followed my recommendation and crafted the drums, then getting to 200 should be easier, as you'll only need to craft 26 virtuoso drums here. And this gets you straight to 200 furnishing. The snail slime should be less of a problem now, but then the problem becomes the cost of materials like ironwood planks. But if you followed my advice of crafting one of each of the composer's instruments, you can now craft one of each virtuoso instrument and utilise the double XP for the first time crafts. I won't list the materials you need to craft all of these just once because it's far too much information to fit on one screen, but I can assure you this is worth it because you'll get double the XP for crafting each of these, and you'll only need to craft 18 drums as opposed to 26, and will save you a lot of resources. So that's it for getting to 200 furnishing. However, if you want to continue with furnishing after level 200, you may want to know the best way to farm the Aptitude crates, as these can drop rare trophy mats. So my recommendations for this would be to offer your furnishing services to other people and offer to craft them trophies if they provide you with the materials, or craft storage chests for them. The golden steel storage chest schematic is extremely rare, so unless you're super rich or extremely lucky, you probably won't be able to obtain the schematic, but you can still craft hope storage chests for people, which is still useful, or you can continue crafting yourself. Some of the first time crafting bonuses will come in nicely here, and once you've done that, you can continue crafting round seafoam rugs, which I've listed the materials you need for this on screen. That's it for this video guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys and your support, and please leave a like and subscribe if this video helped you out at all. Thanks guys.